The boy took a bite of the fruit in front of him, only to discover it was the backside of a bird. What he thought was a strawberry turned out to be a monkey. That day, while escaping from danger, a family of cavemen stumbled upon a utopia. Hungry from not eating for half a month, the whole family immediately switched to buffet mode. There were butterflies that tasted like watermelon, giant watermelons that tasted like ice cream, and blueberry vines hanging full of fruit. When everyone had eaten their fill, Grug spotted a banana growing on a tree. He grabbed it tightly, but what happened next was completely unexpected. The whole family ended up hanging from the tree. Then, two strange-looking people walked over, prodding them with bamboo sticks, but Grandma bit the bamboo stick. And realizing that Grug and his family weren't beasts, they helped them down from the tree. It turned out that these two people were evolved, civilized humans, and the owners of the farm. The man was named Hope, and the woman was also named Hope. The facilities here were incredibly advanced. They ate fresh eggs every day, and even ferocious mammoths were tamed to plow the fields. They even had special animals to help with transporting goods. The most interesting part? There were tree houses that looked like palaces, and everyone had their own room. Eep was full of curiosity, and immediately climbed up, while Phil took the others to a small hut. He pulled a rope, and the hut acted like an elevator, taking them all the way to the top of the tree. Phil also had a daughter, and when Eep found out Dawn was a girl, she joyfully picked Dawn up. It had been a long time since she'd seen someone her age, and soon the two of them became the best of friends. Because of the arrival of Grug's family, Phil and his wife were very hospitable. But when Grug tried to eat a banana, Phil stopped him, saying that everything was free to eat, except for the bananas. This made Grug very unhappy, and what bothered him even more was how the civilized people's habits made him uncomfortable. Back in the day, his family always slept together, but now everyone had their own room, which felt strange to him. Meanwhile, the civilized couple didn't like having Grug's family around. They found them rude and uncivilized, and if it weren't for Guy, they would have kicked Grug's family out already. To change this situation, they came up with a plan. Phil noticed that Guy and Eep had a special connection, and in order to bring Guy and his daughter Dawn closer, they made several arrangements. First, they got Guy involved in daily life, showing him the advantages of their world. Then, they set up opportunities for Guy and Dawn to be alone, so they could bond more. Next, they transformed Guy's image, changing his hairstyle, his necklace, and giving him a complete makeover. When it was time to start a fire and cook, Eep was eager to show off her skills, but Guy ended up lighting the fire the civilized way. Disappointed, Eep went to the roof, and the next moment, Dawn followed her. While the two were chatting, Dawn noticed the scars on Eep's body. Dawn was very curious, and Eep explained that every scar represented an experience, but there were some scars her parents didn't know about, like the fact that her little toe had been missing for a long time. Dawn was quite envious of this. At dinner, both families sat down and openly discussed their differences. Eep felt awkward, caught in the middle, and in the end, they parted ways. Seeing his daughter so upset, Grug was furious. He directly told the civilized family that they had eaten all the bananas. Phil broke down when he heard this, because those bananas were the key to the family's survival. It turned out that the bananas were used to pay protection fees, although he wasn't sure exactly who they were paying. As long as they paid enough bananas each month, their farm would be safe. Just then, the monster appeared. There were no bananas left, only piles of banana peels. The monster slammed into the wall, but to everyone's surprise, it turned out to be a small monkey. When Grug learned that Phil had been paying a protection fee to a monkey all these years, he couldn't help but laugh. But the next second, his laughter turned to silence, because behind the little monkey appeared a massive army of monkeys. These monkeys took 3 people away. When they reached the place, all they found was one of Guy's shoes.